Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to tell you the real reason WWE has torn up creative plans for the Bloodline.
An update on WWE's wacky plans for the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
We're going to talk about the released tag team that WWE discussed bringing back.
And Tony Khan has named AEW's MVP of 2022. You'll never guess who it is, you definitely will. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm flipping freezing.
Ooh, and this is the news.
Yeah, the boiler in here packed in overnight. It's really cold, but he's more of a warm boy than me, apparently.
I run hot.
Speaking of warm boys, let's talk about the Bloodline, I guess.
I acknowledge you, my tribal chief.
Right, so there was supposed to be an acknowledgement ceremony on tonight's episode of Raw. Raw XXX. They announced it last week. It was going to feature, what was the quote? Every generation of the Bloodline was going to be represented. Well, PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported last week that was actually off, and it was going to be replaced by the trial of Sami Zayn. Now,
So scared.
you're right.
I'm just nervous,
right.
man.
Do you like, I don't know, chamomile tea?
Oh, yeah.
Calm you down a little bit of magnesium.
Or a coffee from
chill
Good
you out.
Brews.
There you
They're
go.
not sponsoring us, we just love them.
No, we wouldn't want a sponsorship either because we wouldn't want to take
Keep
money
your
off
money.
the table.
Well, you can send your money to
Go
me,
and
it
see-
doesn't matter.
Go and see the boys if you're engaged. But yes, it's replaced by the trial. WWE have announced that now, and it was kind of reflected on SmackDown where the Bloodline got destroyed by Kevin Owens. Sami wasn't there, but Sami wasn't there because of instructions given to him by Roman Reigns earlier.
Yes.
So that's the dilemma
Not
of the
his
whole
fault.
thing. You might be sitting here wondering, why have they changed that? Why have they done that? Why did they announce it and then cancel it? There's good reason for it. So the segment was originally supposed to feature such names as Afa, Sika, Rikishi, Samu, a bunch of other members of the Samoan wrestling dynasty. Unfortunately, those names are not going to be at Raw. They can't get there, so they figured it was better to just cancel the segment, which is very fair. Dave Meltzer wrote as much in the Wrestling Observer's Daily Update column. He said that Afa and Sika were going to be key players in the segment. They weren't ready for the trip, in Dave's words. Additionally, Rikishi actually got ill during the week. He fell sick, resulting in the segment kind of falling to pieces. He, of course, is the father of the Usos and Solo Sikoa, so he would have been an important piece of this puzzle as well. There were rumors when all of this came out that maybe The Rock had pulled out and Vince was going to appear on Raw. Nothing to do with either of those. I wouldn't rule out Vince
Never rule
appearing on Raw because he's a lunatic. And, here we are. That's why they changed it. Yes.
Yeah, a bit gutted about this, but like you say, you can't really do a Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony with like half the people not there. First and foremost, by the way, get well soon, Rikishi. And yeah, if they were going to do something that incorporated a bit of a snub from The Rock, I mentioned on last week's news, you could do everyone there except The Rock, who brings it via satellite, and Roman Reigns has his nose a little bit put out of joint, and you can kind of work that into the story so it's not just, The Rock's a busy man, he can't just show up as and when you want him. Yeah, disappointed that's not happening, and as we talked about, Sami Zayn with his arms around Afa and Sika would have been a brilliant visual, but I'm equally happy with the replacement and absolutely terrified as to what's going to happen on Raw tonight. This is the most I've looked forward to a Raw in a long, long time, and it's not just because they're like, here's some cancelled legends that we're bringing out.
So you're looking forward to, Road Dogg pinning Austin Theory or something then? Or Johnny Gargano or Mustafa Ali, just getting beaten up by
We'll
Road
talk
Dogg.
more about it on the Raw preview. We also
That'll be
did a podcast over the weekend about what needs to happen at Raw Triple X. Granted, we talk about the stuff with the Bloodline, so just ignore that, skip past that. But, so much potential. The Raw before the Royal Rumble, big title matches, a steel cage match, well, we'll get back to the Sami Zayn thing, in fact, on today's And Finally. Let's talk instead about something else that's going down at the Royal Rumble, and that is, of course, the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. I'm more and more convinced that LA Knight might be going over here, because he is over. With
This
the
Bray
WWE
Wyatt
audience.
return's been It's not been great.
He hasn't had a match yet since he came back. Well, he has, but we haven't seen it.
He
And
hurt his finger.
Hurt his finger, Spooky finger. I don't know what
It's
that
like
means.
E.T.
Yeah. Anyway, Fightful Select, Andy, have come through with the latest update on the plans that WWE have for this. It's going to incorporate neon elements.
Okay.
No word exactly as to what that means. Although, Andy, if you've been keeping track of this, we had the Eater of Worlds just the other week. We had the Firefly Funhouse return on SmackDown, which means Only one thing that's coming back.
It is.
Fiend.
It's Big Fiend Week, baby. Here we go.
Again, nervously excited for all this.
Yeah, I think. I didn't realize, right? And it's probably been really obvious, and you can call me an idiot. I didn't realize that the whole match is just named after a flavor of Mountain Dew.
Oh, right,
I did not know this. Yeah, Pitch Black is this like a limited release apparently.
What do you think
US.
it tastes of?
Piss,
I've had space flavored Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And that does taste galactic. Yeah. Intergalactic, in fact.
Drink it just tastes like the darkness within. I don't know.
I think it tastes like Vince McMahon's lethal dose of poison that he
God.
put into WWE all those years
but
ago.
Yeah, this whole match is about juice. It's about fizzy juice. So, as we'd say back home.
Well, you'd think it's going to be about Mountain Dew, but what if it's about Mountain Dew?
Oh, coming out of a box-like structure. This has the potential to be the most beautiful car crash.
Yep.
I watched the most beautiful car crash at the weekend when I watched the Great Muta's final bye-bye, which was utterly demented and resulted in one man getting his soul stuck in a broken stick because the Great Muta said so. So there you go. But yes, this will be a pile of rubbish, and I like the best way. I mean that in the best possible way.
Absolutely. It's going to be great, and don't forget the Royal Rumble is Saturday. And if you're going to be watching that, you may as well join myself and Phil Chambers for our live stream. Stick that in your diary as well. We'll be answering all your questions, all that good stuff.
Yes, offers of pain. WWE discussed bringing them back. This is according to Fightful Select. Ikemen and Rizar, they've been out of WWE since like 2020. They haven't wrestled since that March because one of them was injured and then they were put on hiatus before they were released.
Are they going to do that weird Nottingham show?
Well, yep.
Were they?
Wrestling Entertainment Series, remember that? That was the big show. They tried to launch a promotion. Everybody pulled out.
Yep.
It was a disaster. You know all of that. But WWE did discuss bringing them back. So obviously Paul Triple H Levesque's era as head of creative has been characterized by 4 million people returning and all of that stuff, to the betterment of the product, I would argue, in most cases.
But
they actually discussed bringing AOP back and also their original manager, Paul Ellering. He was mentioned as part of these conversations. But it's unclear as to how advanced these talks were. Ikemen and Rizar, they haven't wrestled. I thought they were fun. Like, they clearly weren't, like, the finished product or anything. But I thought they were fun as, like, big, chaotic powerhouses.
Yeah, I've got to say, when I first saw this story, before I saw the Paul Ellering part, personally, subjectively, not asked about them coming back to WWE, add Paul Ellering into the mix, because that was my thing, was I don't think I was really watching watching anywhere near as much of NXT as I was. And all I heard from people when AOP came up was like, there's this kick-ass team with a great manager. And the first thing they did was like, get rid of Paul Ellering.
Yeah, they got to the main roster. And there was that rumor that he didn't want to travel, which he then debunked.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he did that.
Who knows why that was. They were clearly going for the Legion of Doom thing with Paul Ellering and AOP. And it's like, it's really hard to bottle the magic of the greatest, in my opinion, tag team of all time. But I thought they were kind of fun.
I like them as like Seth Rollins heavies.
Yeah, just big, stupid beef guys. I like that. That's my style, man.
But yeah, I think it's not essential that they came. If they'd have come, they'd just been another body in amongst all the new arrivals. I think, Paul, pace yourself. It's not like your dad's father-in-law's going to be coming back within 3 months of you taking over or whatever it bloody is. But yeah, if they're going to bring back the AOP, I would suggest that they have to bring back Paul Ellering with it, because it was that gave them that X factor.
Extra spice.
The X factor, bring them back. Get some of that Uncle Cracker money
what's
rolling
Uncle
in.
Cracker? Well, I mean, Albert's already there. Matt Bloom, he's already there. I don't know what Just Incredible's up to.
No, X-Pac's in and around, isn't he?
Yeah.
May as well. Yeah. Could he be in the Rumble, please?
I gotta be the beautiful.
You don't want to be
the
X Factor.
X Factor.
Right, let's move on and talk about AEW's MVP of 2022. Not Montel Vontavious Porter, of course. I am talking about Jon Moxley. No surprise, really, this
Justin
Andy
Roberts.
that Tony Khan on the In the Click podcast, which is one of the best podcasts out there, that isn't ours, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, named Jon Moxley as their most important person in 2022. He said, well, 2022, Jon Moxley was certainly an MVP for AEW in so many ways. He was a great world champion throughout the year, and you've got to really come back at the beginning of the year. I'll just read it.
I feel really sorry for people who listen to this on the podcast.
Sorry,
Yeah.
He took some time off to get his personal life in order, get his health in order. He's come back better than ever, looking better than ever. His motivation is through the roof, week in, week out. He's having the best matches, and he is consistently, to me, doing the best work of his entire career. No matter what was happening in the comedy week in, week out 2022, you can always count on Jon Moxley to be really a leader in AEW and be one of the top stars. And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
Yeah, he was my wrestler of the year, Jon Moxley. Consistency off the charts. Felt like he was wrestling every 5 minutes. Yeah. He came to the company's rescue when CM Punk got injured, and he was world champion again, and he closed the year. He did have a bit of a lull, I think, in like the autumn fall season.
It's all a bit muddy.
Yeah, it wasn't quite popping the way it should, and it was understandable. The guy really wanted to go on vacation. He had to cancel it, but he picked things up again with the Hangman feud. I thought that's been really awesome so far. So yeah, I agree with Tony. MVP of that promotion last year for sure.
Without question. It's like you say, especially because disregard all the work that he did and how great all that was. Not a chance in hell I'd be like, well, I guess I'll cancel my time off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, yeah, Tony? Oh, your world champion's got injured and there's been a big fight backstage. What's this? That sounds like a you problem. Bye, come on, Renee. Come on, exactly. Get the bags.
And when that happened, they could have just brought in the flipping feed. Yeah. And it would have been fine.
Playing at Tony.
Yeah, good.
Jon Moxley. I hope he has a really nice break.
I hope he has a great time fishing.
He's off now for a binny. They're doing the Hangman Page. Please, John, just go and have a nice... I don't know what he does, because I can't picture him just sitting by a pool.
Playing the PlayStation. Yeah, no,
you feel like he'd get bored and just bust himself out.
He was going to go fishing with his mate. He was going to go... They were getting... That Robert Anthony fella was like, hey, we were going to go fishing, then he cancelled it. What?
Do you think he fishes, or he just jumps in and punches the fish?
Gives it a bulldog joke or something. Yeah, I reckon he's into that. Like, all the stories you hear of Jon Moxley's personal life sound fun.
Yeah.
Like drinking milkshakes in bed and stuff. Like going fishing,
going to the library when we did that,
driving all the way to what pandemic. He cut that promo where he was like, "Yeah, I just bought a bunch of Metallica CDs and drove halfway across the country." What a great guy, man!
What a legend!
What a great guy!
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions.
Just nothing after the Black Album.
At WhatCulture WWE, is that the Beatles? At WhatCulture WWE, of course, we're going to get in touch with us.
Metallica are much better than the Beatles. That's a shoot. The Beatles suck ass, man. Like, name one. When was the last time you heard Paul McCartney on the radio really spitting?
Good point.
Exactly. They got no riffs.
Can't argue with that.
Got no riffs.
At WhatCulture WWE, your question. First question today comes from Wolf Blitzer. I'm not sure if it's the actual Wolf Blitzer, but still. Who writes, good insert time here. Do you guys think, with all this Sammy and Cody hype building, what are the chances of an attempt at attempting a co-winner spot like the 1994 Rumble? Also, love you here, your craziest Rumble spot pictures.
Yeah, I certainly hope they don't do that, because that sucked ass.
It's better when they didn't mean to do it with Cena and Batista.
Yeah, and then tore 2 quads when he was getting in the ring. Vince. I hope not. I sincerely hope not. I think our very good friend Ibu, backup Hangman, had a good point on Twitter recently where he was like, "Man, I really hope that Cody isn't the Batista to Sami Zayn's Daniel Bryan.
You really got to book this well."
Which I think is a legitimate danger. We'll get a better feel of that, I think, coming out of this week's television. But
yes.
I think that's they've got a tough choice. Me, I would still go with Cody.
100%.
And I would do something else with Sami, but I wouldn't do the double winners. It's just convoluted. It complicates things. Why?
And just in a boring, actually, they probably won't do that because they literally just did that spot in the NXT Battle Royal to determine who will face Roxanne Perez with both members of Toxic Attraction. So I doubt that they're going to just go, do that again.
They would never do 2 things in a
row. Craziest spots, my mind always goes to Tasha Michinoku?
Tasha Michinoku.
That's his name.
It's like Tasha Steelz teaming with Taka Michinoku.
Taka Michinoku, his face just exploding.
It's horrible.
And Paul London's insane bump from a Snitsky?
Yes.
Lariat thing, to which he got bollocked backstage, I only discovered last week.
Yeah. Of course. He's a silly
Everything
sausage.
Paul London, I love. He's such a handsome man.
Insane, ghoulish Maven getting killed by The Undertaker is really horrible.
Great dropkick as well from Maven. Friend of the channel. Yeah. So, I don't think they do co-winner spot, and I agree with you. Give it to Cody. Just be very careful how you book Sami Zayn, and maybe don't. I know that they can't, obviously, but maybe don't have Gold Dust come out straight after to be like, shattered dreams. Bollocks to you. Oh, they did that year with Brian, of course. Speaking of Brian's, Brian George gives us our second question of the day. Right, morning, gents. Seems everyone has been talking about the Rumble returns of Cody Rhodes and The Rock. What about Orton? Do you think he could be one of the big surprises?
I don't think so. I believe the reports that have come out on Randy Orton. I don't know if we'll ever legit. I don't think we'll.
The lack of noise coming out about him is concerning, isn't it?
Well, there's been a lot of noise coming out about him. He's been photographed in the hospital with his wife undergoing the procedure. There's been these reports that he might never wrestle again. People in WWE are really concerned about his long-term future. I believe those completely. I think the back injury is a lot more severe than we first thought. I think there is more chance of it snowing in hell than Randy Orton. And there's a good chance his career might be over.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Randy, and what I mean by lack of noise is just the complete lack of official don't worry guys, Cody's there in 2 minutes after he comes out of surgery going, I'm gonna be back for the Royal Rumble probably, guys. If you look at the calendar, completely nothing been said about a return date for Randy. Get well soon. Look, you forget sometimes because he's just been around for 20 odd years doing this, and every move you see wrestlers, if they do it on a regular, will bugger up one part of their body, and he's been taking, maybe not as many bumps as certain people, but bad bumps for a long time.
It's like the old thing with Hulk Hogan's leg drop, compressing his spine. So he used to be 6'8", he's now 4'4".
Yeah,
it's wild.
And that almost prevented him from wrestling over 400 days in that year. Radar Penguin gives us our final question of the day. Get well soon, Randy Orton, I should say.
Yes.
Radar Penguin writes, do you think WWE has a plan for the Pitch Black match? Something special or new, or are we just going to see a no DQ match with the lights dimmed down?
I think they have a lot of plans for that match, which we will talk about later in the week, I think.
Yes.
A little co-promotion. Tune into the channel. Later in the week, we're going to do Royal Rumble nightmares that could come true. We'll also
I always love reading this article as well.
It's always fun. Shout out to Jamie Kennedy. He does the article. We're going to do the video this time. Also, later in the week, I imagine, we haven't actually spoken about this, but we always do what needs to happen at the Rumble. So you'll see that as well. We will talk about the Pitch Black match extensively in those videos. So if you want to know what we think they have planned, tune in.
I still don't know, but I think it's going to be unforgettable.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
And finally today, I just saw this and it tickled me somewhat. So WWE obviously tweeted regarding the trial of Sami Zayn and the Bloodline Tribal Court. Have you got any advice for Sami Zayn ahead of this on Raw tomorrow night? I tweeted this yesterday. And I just was looking at some of the responses, and I loved Jon Voka's response, who tweeted this. Don't stare the tribal chief in the eyes. Keep your eye contact down. Don't talk out of turn. If the wise man tells you to shut up for the sake of your life, do it. And if things start going south because of unreasonable prosecution, ask for trial by combat.
Boom. There you go. Be like, what's the boy from Game of Thrones? The sexy man gets his head caved in. What's that guy?
They all do
Can't
in the
remember.
end.
Yeah. He gets killed by the mountain.
Oh, yeah, the Hound.
Roman Reigns is the mountain.
No, the Viper.
What's his name? The Viper.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Oberyn Tyrell. There you go.
I'm really bad with names.
That's Sami Zayn. That's the only time those two people have ever been compared. But Roman Reigns is the mountain because they're on the mountain of relevant. No, the island of relevant. This is terrible.
I'm just very excited for tonight's Raw, and at the same time have that little thing in the pit of your stomach of it's not quite time for it to all go wrong. You sense it's probably going to be Elimination Chamber time, but I mean, they could pull the trigger on it tonight, hoy him out of the Rumble, blah blah blah. Kevin Owens gets beaten, and then they suddenly finally remember, oh yeah, we're best mates, you and me. It's going to happen soon, and it's going to be heartbreaking, but I can't wait. Let us know your advice for Sami Zayn in his trial tonight in the comments section below. As well as that, like, share, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. For daily wrestling podcasts, myself and the Dudley Boys sitting down to review SmackDown and Rampage, baby. And look,
you can probably skip Rampage this week. Apart from Cage and Mac, that was good.
Yeah. But everything else.
Not the best.
And we are looking ahead to Raw XXX, don't Google it, a little bit later on as well today. Thoughts, Twitter questions, all that good stuff at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter. Watch there, follow both of us, follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for hoop.
It also stands for, hey, who forgot to pay the heating bill? And the beating hill as well.
Flipping freezing in here. Kings.
You follow me on Twitter at Adam
Come on, peeps.
Oh, GG, Pete.
GG.
Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, thanks, Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.